I'm Jamon Jordan, official historian for the city of Detroit. And this is Black History Month. I want to welcome you to some wonderful programming called Undefeated, a look at Black history in the city of Detroit through the lens of dance, music, architecture, spoken word, and other genres. Available on Channel 22 and at DetroitArtsandCulture.com. Please enjoy.
Dr. Ossian Sweet bought a home. Him and his wife, Gladys Sweet, bought a home at 2905 Garland on the far east side of the city of Detroit. This neighborhood is predominantly white when they moved there in 1925. The home has a racial restrictive covenant on it, which means that the home is not to be sold, rented, or leased to a Negro. Dr. Sweet pays $6,000 more for the home, which is the equivalent in today's dollars of $90,000. So he pays an extra $90,000 in today's dollars for that home, which prompts the homeowners to sell it to him in violation of the racial restrictive covenant. However, when they move in September of 1925, a mob will show up on September 8th to try to run them out of their house. There are people surrounding the house, all over the streets next to the house, behind the house, on the side of the house, and they're really hollering all kind of epithets and threats at them, and they begin throwing bricks at the windows. As the windows are being busted by the bricks, Dr. Sweet, his wife Gladys Sweet, his brothers, Dr. Otis and Henry Sweet, his chauffeur, his handyman, and some of their friends are there, and they are all armed. And they return or respond to this mob who's threatening the house and throwing bricks through the windows by shooting into the crowd. 2 people in that crowd will be shot, one of whom will die. The police arrest everybody in the home, and they're charged with first-degree murder in 1925. So this is premeditated murder that they're being charged with. Basically, they're being charged with moving into the house to commit this murder. And so the NAACP hires a legal team led by Clarence Darrow. Clarence Darrow is the most well-known defense attorney in the country at that time. And he argues something that we now call castle doctrine, which is that a person has the right to defend their home. Defending your home is a form of self-defense. The first trial is a mistrial. It ends in a hung jury. The judge in the trial is Judge Frank Murphy, who is what we will later be calling a progressive Democrat, which is a group of people who are part of the Democratic Party, but who do not agree with the segregationist policies of the Southern Democrats. And so the second trial is Henry Sweet by himself. Henry Sweet is Dr. Sweet's youngest brother. He's the only person who's admitted to shooting that night. And so he's tried alone. In that trial, Clarence Darrow basically dares the jury to find his client guilty. He basically says, find my client guilty if you want to. But understand that when you do that, it's based on your prejudices and your fears. Because if this were any other family, this wouldn't even be a trial. And everybody knows what he's saying. He said if this were a white family and a mob showed up attacking the white family's home, they would have been in their rights to defend that home. But because this is a black family, these people are being tried at first-degree murder. Henry Sweet is acquitted, and the charges are dropped on everyone else. However, Mrs. Sweet has contracted tuberculosis in jail. She's brought it home to her 2-year-old daughter, who dies within months of the trial. She dies months after that. Henry Sweet dies months after that, all of tuberculosis. And Dr. Sweet himself is racked by financial issues and, of course, personal depression based on what's happened to his family. And we will lose Dr. Sweet himself to suicide. And so this is a victory without a real victory. But it did open up a part of the East Side for African Americans when they won this case. But racial restrictive housing covenants are the main form of discrimination in the 1920s in the city of Detroit.